Subscribe now. EU debates.
The EU makes lots of proposals and suggestions about what others have to do. But my question is, as it were, how do the institutions have to change themselves in order for Europe to be successful in this transformation? The President. Well, it's very important that we agree to these rules together at the European level. The European Green Deal is unimaginable. Achieving a circular CO2-free economy would be impossible otherwise. The world is competitive, and it would be very difficult to make any progress if all of the countries were competing against one another. The Commission has the right of initiative. It's come forward with a roadmap. From the very beginning, the very first climate law ever in Europe was brought forward by the Commission, and under it, all 27 member states have signed up to achieve our major goals, and that creates a legally binding framework. So it's not a question of whether we will become climate neutral by 2050, but how we get to climate neutrality. And that leads us to the four big legislative packages, because every part of life and economy in the European Union is going to have to adapt. The Commission has made a proposal, and Parliament and Council are scrutinising the proposals very closely. Negotiations are ongoing, but we have to find a path forward, a solution to achieve these legally binding goals. And time is ticking. We have to pick up the pace.
Well, Europe isn't necessarily known for picking up the pace, for acting quickly. Well, when we're under pressure, we can get the job done. Think about the pandemic. Think about the digital COVID certificates and what we managed to do. It took us 3 months to do that, from the first thought to actually getting it up and running. And this was the only digital COVID certificate on a worldwide basis that actually made it to the market, and then everybody copied our lead. So you can see that, sanctions, again, the second day, the fourth day, the sixth day after the beginning of the war, we had sanctions packages on the table, and a couple of days later, we had those approved. So, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm not here to defend the European system. Of course, we do need to constantly work on this, improve, and step up our speed. But I just do want to point out that this is a complicated issue. But it's part of our democracy. There are 450 million Europeans. There are 27 member states. We're not going to be act as quickly as an autocrat like Putin, who can, stamp a certain document and it will be implemented the next day. Our system might be slow, but it's a democratic one.
Well, Chancellor Scholz gave a speech today in Prague, and I wanted to pick up on it. He said that we are going to have to move away from the veto if we are to make progress and to pick up the pace in decision-making in the future. I wonder if this transformation, if the crisis we're facing now provides an opportunity to make changes and move towards majority decision-making in many areas such as environment. Well, many of the packages on the environment which are on the table fall under majority voting. Minister Habeck. There are calculation tables to determine the qualified majority voting. It all depends on how many citizens there are in each member state and adding them up. So it's not just a question of the 27 member states having 14 states in favour and 13 against. It also depends how many citizens each member state has. It requires some very intelligent people to check some very complicated calculation tables. The Commission President, Chancellor Scholz today mentioned foreign defence and security policy, and I agree with him. It's awful when political events happen in the world, things move very fast, and one member state in the EU can force the EU in its entirety into silence by voting against a declaration. And then people turn to us and say, well, why are you silent? Why are you not doing or saying anything? And we can't because of unanimity. If even one vote is filibustering. And that is why I agree that we have to move towards qualified majority voting. The problem is, the obstacle is that you need unanimity to change the rules. You need a one-off unanimity to get the rules changed, and that's what will probably be the obstacle.